Colin Matthews in the industrial hardware WPP provided one of the heart-stopping moments during the prologue. Crews would start at 30-second intervals with the results calculated on corrected time. Unlike other events where the position a crew holds on the road is their actual position in the race, the 30-second interval would be factored into the final result, which meant that someone running well down the field could actually be leading the race. Some rain overnight and conditions would not be as dusty as predicted for the first of the 338-kilometer laps of the Carnival City Casino 400.
I'm really excited. You know, I've come to within 10 seconds this year of starting on pole, but for the first time, yeah, we're on pole and I'm really excited about it.
Well, we're starting first this morning. First of the specials, we seem to finish on the same time as Hannes yesterday. It's a bit of a rough section going out there today. We've got 400 kilometers of rough road, and hopefully we can keep it in front of all the rest of the specials. We need this win to win the championship, to keep Bat Racing in front for the championship this year.
The aerial visuals are courtesy of the Kopanong Hotel medical and TV helicopter and show just how muddy the short course was after the rain. Spectators turned out in their droves for what promised to be an action-packed day of racing. The route comprised 3 laps of a 138-kilometer course between Brakpan and Heidelberg, which included farmlands, dongas, quarries and mountainous terrain. The Carnival City Casino 400 would prove to be a true test of man and machine. Voss and Griffith were first away in the Nissan and knew full well that teammates Grobler and Leek would be piling on the pressure from the word go. And pile on the pressure they did. Enjoyed the ride on board the championship-winning, proudly South African Nissan hardbody. Berthold and Harkes desperately wanted an overall win to add to Bat Racing's growing list of successes. They led the Toyota Dealer 400 until they got lost and were again in contention before they got stuck in a large hole. It was expected that the special vehicles would come into their own on the rougher sections of the route, but would lose ground to the production vehicles on the faster, smoother sections. Corbett and Brouwer were expected to mount an early attack for the lead, and based on current form, stood as good a chance of winning the race as the leading pack did. The Duplessis brothers, with Lawrence at the wheel, are well known for their hard-charging style right from the start of the race. If the Jimco stayed together, and if Lawrence wasn't overcome by motion sickness, which saw him sit out the past 7 events, victory could be theirs. Mandel and Bond could only hope that ongoing gearbox and driveline problems did not rob them of the Class A championship, while Gibson would certainly not want a repeat of the Toyota Dealer 400, where he got lost coming into the finish with a race win in the bag and on 3 wheels to boot, and handed the victory to Corbett and Moore on a plate. Weir Smith and Minute, back in the navigator's seat after a 2-race layoff due to a hand injury, were in a confident frame of mind before the start and had decided to adopt a more cautious strategy aimed at preserving the Jimco and hopefully securing the race win. Woolridge and Scholthammer survived a horrendous high-speed crash on last year's Carnival City Casino 400, which necessitated a complete rebuild of the Ford at SBM in France. Here's a look at what happened last year. Reinicke and Houghton, like the Ford pair, were hell-bent on ending Nissan's dominance and had decided to mount a charge for the lead right from the start of the race. They'd been plagued by gearbox and drivetrain problems earlier in the season, but these now appear to have been solved. Enjoy the ride.
Wipers? Have fun.
Grobler and Leek had closed the gap on their Nissan teammates to less than 30 seconds and were leading the race on corrected time, but Vos and Griffith were not going to be easy to overtake. They had made a successful transition from the near-standard Class D Nissan to the high-powered Class T machine. On board with Grobler and Leek as they homed in for the kill. Vos and Griffith wrong-slotted and the champions were well on their way, or so they thought. That was a cheeky move from Vos. Meanwhile, Berthold and Harkes were third and the leading special vehicle, and were closing in on the two Nissan crews who were going at it hammer and tongs. Grobler tried a cheeky move of his own. It didn't work out as planned and earned him a reprimand from Leek. Corbett and Brouwer were fourth overall and second in the special vehicle category, while up ahead the two Nissan crews were still fighting tooth and nail for their overall position on the road. The shrill-sounding alarm was the new overtaking system installed in all vehicles, which is a proximity sensor that is effective at 30 meters. Anyone wishing to overtake activates his unit, which sounds off an alarm in the vehicle ahead, whose crew acknowledges that they have heard the alarm and will move over by activating their system, which in turn sounds an alarm in the vehicle wishing to overtake. Grobler and Leek were back in their customary number one position on the road. The problem with corrected time scoring is that the leading vehicles usually do not know how much time their rivals have gained on them. While Grobler and Vos were fighting it out, Woolridge quietly went about gaining as much time on them as possible, and was in fact the race leader at this point. On board with Grobler and Leek as they approached a mud patch. They overshot and were bumped by Vos, which damaged the cooling system on his Nissan. Grobler got away cleanly, but the incident cost him time and allowed Berthold and Harkes to close to within 30 meters, as the overtaking hooter alarm confirmed. The Bat Racing pair seemed to be a little impatient, and with good cause. They wanted the number one spot on the road, and now they had it. Gareth Walk in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team Mighty Mag was involved in an almighty battle for the Class B lead with Rob Gurney from KwaZulu-Natal, who took advantage of this moment to regain the leading position on the road. Walk's charge would be short-lived, however. A faulty fuel injector throttle body sensor forced him to retire from the race on lap 1. Reinicke and Houghton were out of luck as well. A broken rear side shaft almost put paid to their challenge, but they decided to complete lap 1 with only front-wheel drive.
Losmaak, dan kan jy hom heen en weer alles doen. Okay, maar waar is hy gelok nou? Hy is hier onder die rad. Nee, maar waar moet hy lok wees hierso? Jy stoot op net tot daai lug op. Sorry, lug aan. Een vorentoe, hè? Hè? Ja, vorentoe, een agtertoe. Ja. Net as jy die lug sien, dan jy dat.
It was a disastrous end to the Carnival City Casino 400 for Vos and Griffith.
Yeah,
following Hannes very closely, and he overshot and was so slipping on the right hand left corner. He hit the brakes and we just put blank straight into him.
Aren't you guys going?
The radiator's punctured and the leaking oil, so yeah.
It was a case of 1 down and 1 to go for Woolridge and Schulthammer as they passed the stricken Nissan and continued to increase their lead over Grobler and Leek. Rob Gurney was the Class B leader at this point, but the clutch master cylinder failed and he retired at the end of lap 2. Class D leaders Alfie Cox and Henny Tersteger had moved from 20th to 10th on the road, but the runner-up on the recent UAE Desert Challenge blotted his copybook when he mistimed this tricky section of the route. Not too much time lost there. The field was still tightly bunched, with crews jockeying for position. Mark Renier and Chris Birkin made short work of Francois Smith in the Class B Frannic and set about getting past Frikkie Botha and Melville Priest in the Pro Coat Jimco. All Renier's hard work almost came to naught with this overshoot. Schroeder and Peckham have not had the best of seasons in the Class E Team Ford Racing Ranger and can lay claim to only one class win on the Nissan Sugarbelt 400. Former special vehicle champions and winners of numerous Roof of Africa rallies, Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne, overdid it in the Class S leading Mototech Raceco. A spate of punctures didn't help matters either. 23 Class B vehicles entered the event and the competition was fiercer than ever. Henry Steyn and Renier Jooster were on a charge in the Atlas Copco Bat, in which Clint Gibson and Mike Brown won the class on 3 successive occasions. Special Vehicle Championship leader Gil Nel certainly had the odds stacked against him and would have to pull out all the stops if he wanted to win the coveted title. Nell's consistency in the Look Africa Truggy has seen him win the Class B title 3 times in 5 years. Katsier Labiskachny and Johan Gerber were second in Class D in one of 4 GBS Racing Nissan hardbody pickups entered in the event, while the Van Reenen father and son combination were 5th in Class T in the DC Racing Nissan Terrano. There was a bit of confusion here, with neither the Van Reenens nor Arnold Pistorius and Jurg Steyn knowing which way to go. Chris Visser and Jaapie Baardnost were second in Class E in the 2002 championship-winning Toyota Hilux. Vodacom Sports prototype driver James Kennelly took advantage of Visser's mistake and set off in pursuit of the rest of the Class B field. Reineke and Houghton had dropped to 47th and were simply intent on getting back to the pits so that the Toyota could be repaired.